Hello everybody and welcome to my predictions for the Jumputi Heroes 3rd anniversary. This event will be starting on the 28th of March, and if the last year's event is anything to go by, will most likely run almost a month in length. I'm expecting it to be a two-part event, so there's a lot of characters to talk about and there's going to be a lot to get through. The next event is actually the Promised Neverland, and I did have some predictions for that, which I'm just going to throw in the description if people are interested. But I'm not going to make that into a full video because by the time I finish this video, it's very possible that the leaks will already be out for that event, and they've already started issuing information on the 3rd anniversary, so I wanted to get that out sooner rather than later, in case they just release all the info before I get a chance to do it. So, let's get started on my 3rd anniversary predictions. This one's tricky. So it's been pointed out to me that maybe something I overlooked is that the number 1 is quite prevalent in the 1st anniversary, and the number 2 quite prevalent in the 2nd anniversary. So logically, I should be looking for characters that have some kind of relation to the number 3. Which is hard because there are so many different characters that are strongly related to the number 3, or could be interpreted as related to the number 3. There's just too many that make themselves potential candidates that you kind of feel like you're looking at those old Illuminati memes. At a certain point, you're just seeing patterns that are not there, and it was a little bit tricky, but I've put together something, and I have done my best to balance it between as realistic as I can be with the kind of characters that they would include, and also try and include some characters that I think deserve to be in there. Maybe I don't know that they have a good chance of getting in, but I think they deserve to be in there. So first things first, I think they are going to give us Super Saiyan 3 Goku for free. The original limited Super Saiyan 3 Goku. I think we have these sprite revamps coming up, and I think they're going to be coming at the end of this year. So I believe that they are going to show us the first of those to be revamped, being Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and they are going to give him away for free as part of a special campaign during this event. It will be something like a shitload of missions you have to do, or like, you know, you have to clear certain stages, or there'll be some kind of bingo board that we have to do. But I think in the end they will give him away for free. He'll have the updated sprite and animations that we mentioned before, and possibly also they might buff his skills. That's what I'm hoping for. That might be the first unrealistic thing we talk about here, but this is one of the things I wanted to say will span 2 parts of the event. I think this will be a 2-part event, 1 2-week and part 2 2 weeks. So this would be the first thing that spans both parts of the event. The second thing to span both parts of the event would be the Muso, which we know 100% for sure will be coming during this event. We don't know who it will be, but I am going with Vegito. I think out of all the options we have for a Muso tier character, I think Vegito makes the most sense. A fusion of 2 strong warriors to become 1/3 even stronger warrior. It might be a bit of a stretch, but honestly, as far as potential Muso candidates, there weren't that many that had a strong tie to the number 3. So I think Vegito probably the best choice, and he would be countering Majin Buu, Gohan Absorbed, or Buhan as he is sometimes known, who doesn't really have any particular ties to the number 3 as far as I know, but he'll be pairing with Vegito, so it's fine. Not every character has to be super tied into the theme. Like if it's an event character that's countering another character that's tied into it, I think it's fine. That's how they did it in previous years, so it's okay. Starting off with part 1. Part 1, I think I know I know we're going to be getting Aoi Kunyeda from Beelzebub. She will most likely, in my opinion, be a standard gacha. And the reason she is tied in is because, and I don't know Beelzebub, so so if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but this is what people have told me. She is the 3rd leader of the Red Tails. So that's why potentially she is tied into this event. She has already been officially announced. And then we have Hidetora Tojo, who is a 3rd year in Beelzebub, and is also going to be partnering with Aoi. Most likely he'll be a Transcendent class event. Next up, this is the one. This is the one I'm most proud of. Out of this entire event, this is the one I most want to happen, because I saw the links and I was like, yes, this works. So I've gone for Standard Gacha to go alongside Aoi Kuneda. Asahi Azumane from Haikyuu. Not only is he a 3rd year student, he also wears the number 3, and this will complete the 3rd year trio. We already had one of them in the game. Now we can have Asahi being added, and then we can have as his event counterpart Daiichi Sawamura, who is another 3rd year, to complete the trio. So that's what I'm hoping for. I think logically, if we've already got one Transcendent class event in Hidetora Tojo, Daiichi could be some kind of points event or some kind of evolver event. Doesn't necessarily have to be Transcendent class, but not like an ultimate or a catastrophe or anything like that. I've also put this one's probably the one the part I'm least confident in, and that is I have made a Sket-Dan unit. So the 3 main characters of Sket Dance in their group Sket-Dan as a single unit. The reason is, of course, because they are a famous trio, and I wanted to make a sort of event for this particular celebration that was focused on trios. So you would have the various trios appear as enemies in these stages. You could have Team 7, you could have the Supernovas trio, you could have the legendary Sanin. Like, there's a load of options for trios that have appeared over the years. Even characters like Yorozuya, like, I mean, you could even say like Tanjiro and Osuke Zenitsu. Loads of options. And I think having those appear as like stages you beat and you work your way up, and then have the final reward for that event being the 3 girls from Cat's Eye as a single unit. Now, again, I think this event is by far the biggest stretch throughout this entire celebration I've made, but I would really like to see it, because I think trio units, if you're going to give it to like the bigger series, it's going to be kind of like retreading the same ground over and over again. But there are some smaller series that haven't had much content. I think it would be a nice way to say, look, let's just add them in. You don't need to have all 3 characters on the screen at once. You could just have, say for example, Bosun on the screen, but then in the special animation, all 3 of them could show up, which is the same thing they did with Gon and Killua when they had a dual unit. They didn't actually make it a dual unit. It was just Gon, but both characters got involved for the special animation. So same again, maybe you could just make it Bosun and then in brackets Sket-Dan, and it's actually all 3 of them in the special animation. Just a thought. Just a thought. And for the final gacha character from this party event, I have Sanji from One Piece as a limited gacha unit. This is tricky because I didn't really want to put another One Piece limited in. We've already had quite a few this year. But there's just no way Sanji's not involved in this event. We already know the sprite exists for him. He is the 3rd son. He has, therefore, son in his name, Sanji. And he counters Pudding, who has 3 eyes. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't include him if he's already finished. He is related to the theme. It just makes too much sense. You could also make the argument for Zoro. 3 sword style. Totally makes sense. But I don't think they'll add both. If they had both, then this year has already got off to a very heavy One Piece start. And I don't know, it would kind of rub me the wrong way. We've had a lot of One Piece already. I do want Zoro at some point, but for now I think Sanji would be the correct choice. And the final part I've put in for part 1, because this part's a little bit weird because we know there are 2 new game modes coming during this anniversary. Super Tower, which we have no info on, and we also have Super Dimensional Battle, which we have very little information on. Seemingly it's sort of like a Dokkan Battlefield on Dokkan Battle. But we don't know if these are going to introduce new characters, if they're going to introduce new mechanics, gimmicks, like we have no idea. So I've gone ahead and I've put a standalone character there, not related to any of the gacha, but related to the theme of the event still. I've put in Super Tower Gemini Canon from Saint Seiya. He's Gemini, so he's the 3rd sign of the zodiac. And, you know, they've already got Saga's updated sprite, so logically wouldn't take that much tweaking to add in Canon, considering the sprite would be almost identical. So that's just a thought. That's just a thought. I don't know how likely we're even going to get a character for Super Tower. How likely is that will happen, because you already have Athena that's going to last until August. So are they going to have another Tower character? I mean, is this, even though it's the same like game mode, just a super version, that's what they seem to be saying, will it even be related to the original Tower? Will it be its own thing? I just have no idea. But I've gone with Gemini Canon, and we'll see what happens. Next up, part 2 of the event. Part 2 of the event, the first character I've chosen is the young version of Midora from Toriko. Midora is the 3rd son, hence he has been named with Mi for number 3, Midora. And he is part of the 3 disciples of Acacia. So, pretty good choice if you ask me. And he has been partnered up with a young version of Ichiryu from Toriko. Again, one of the 3 disciples of gourmet god Acacia. He'll pair with Midora. I would say I've always wanted the, like, Toriko Limited to be... We'll get, like, a Toriko, obviously, but I want an Ichiryu Limited. I don't know if that's going to happen now, because, like, Midora came out ages ago. Ages ago, and we haven't seen any other Toriko content since. So, this is what I went with here. I don't know how likely this is, because Toriko just seems to be forgotten. But, man can dream. A man can dream. And alongside him, I've gone with Hawks from My Hero Academia as the former number 3 hero. And he is... I've put him up against Darby, but Darby won't actually drop. He'll be saved for another event later on, My Villain Academia. And instead, Darby will drop Fumikage Tokoyami, who came 3rd place in the UA Sports Festival, and of course pairs with Hawks as his sort of disciple or protege or whatever you want to call it. This one's a bit... I don't know, how can I put this? I can't decide whether Hawks is limited worthy or not. I feel like he definitely is. When you consider some of the other characters that have gotten it recently, you could definitely say he was. But My Hero Academia's had a weird approach to adding characters. Well, they've had a weird approach to adding My Hero Academia characters, I should say. You know, we got the big 3 before we got even half of the students from Class 1A. And I don't know, it's strange to me how they've handled adding characters from the series so far. So Hawks being a standard gacha might be unlikely. It might be much more likely that he's a limited, but I don't know. I don't know, man. And then the final gacha unit would be a limited. I have chosen, this is another, maybe controversial one. Part 4, Jotaro Kujo from, you know, Jotaro Kujo. Diamond is Unbreakable, Jotaro Kujo. The reason I've gone for him here is because we already have 2 versions of him from Part 3, but we don't have a version of him from Part 4. He is the third JoJo, and I would like to have him fight the Yoshikage Kira that we already have. But I would like that Yoshikage Kira to drop Echo's Act 3 Koichi Hirose, who obviously has a Titan number 3 because it's Echo's Act 3. This one's a bit of a stretch because it is Part 4 Jotaro, and these characters are all from Part 4. It would be much more likely to have a Part 3 character in the 3rd anniversary. But at the same time, Echo's Act 3, we don't have. Like, it could happen. It could happen. And then finally, two things to end off. We have a second part to the Trios event from Part 1. It would add more stages with more trios that we mentioned before. But this time, the final drop would not be a character, it would instead be a legend summon. The 3 Deviluke sisters from To Love Ru. But we don't actually have the 3 Deviluke sisters yet. We only have 2 of them. We have 2 versions of Momo. We have Lala. We don't have Nana. So maybe she could be added as well. I don't know. Maybe she could be added at some point. But I've chosen that as the legend summon. There was a lot of options there for a legend summon, but I figured probably makes more sense. Probably makes more sense to choose a series that hasn't already been featured in this event so far. So went with them. I've also put another legend summon in under Unity Battle Majin Buu, dropping a Super Saiyan 3 Goku legend summon. Him saying this is to go even further beyond. I think that'd be a nice legend summon to have. And it would go well with the Super Saiyan 3 Goku people would be getting in Part 1. That would work. And then finally, we have Super Dimensional Battle. And as I mentioned before, we have no idea how they are handling this game mode. But I decided that there's no way there's not going to be some Naruto content in here. I've gone with Hiruzen Sarutobi, because he is the 3rd Hokage, of course. And he is the master of the legendary Sannin. So there you have it. There you have it. I would say I really wanted to find a way to squeeze Orochimaru into this event, but the only way I could do that is to have him countered by Hiruzen Sarutobi, or potentially to have him up against Mitsuki and have it be the Boruto version of Orochimaru, because Mitsuki has the number 3 in his name and was also part of Boruto's team, which was originally called Team 3. So again, tenuous, but I actually would have quite liked to see that. I think it's more likely they'll save Mitsuki. I don't know about Boruto's version of Orochimaru. It would have been a bit weird to include the Orochimaru that Sarutobi fights, because it wouldn't have visibly looked that different to the one we already have in the game. So I don't know if people would have been interested in seeing that. I don't know. But yeah, that's my predictions. The ones I'm most confident in, other than the ones that are already confirmed, of course, are Sanji and Pudding. Those just seem like 100% gonna happen. And other than that, I'm not really confident in much else, although I really think Asahi was a good shout. But I don't even know if we're gonna get this many characters. I don't even know if it's gonna be a 4-week event this year. I just have no idea. We're gonna find out very soon. We're gonna find out about the Promised Neverland even sooner, which I should be able to tell you more about tomorrow. Till then, and until I know more, that's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your predictions in the comments below, and I'll see you all next time.